Hello. Waiting to see if that. It looks like it's still loading. Aha. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather from Brutus Monroe. So I'm just going to wait a couple of moments to let people come in, and then we're going to get started. Just say hi when you arrive, and then we can make a card today. There's Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Is it rainy where you're at? Marlene, hello. Fantastic. So we're just going to wait and see if more of our friends are going to join us today, and then we'll get started on our project. Nice and sunny. That's awesome. It keeps raining and it's cold, and it's definitely October here in Pittsburgh. How about you, Marlene? You're a little bit north of us. How's the weather up north? That ghost behind me, I keep thinking like of a fireplace. I can see it like wavering. It's really cool. We're going to do some marbling. I know you guys saw this when we were doing the packing, and I did it on the several make and take classes. But you guys had asked how I did that, so I wanted to do this for you live. Hello, Ellen. Ah, it's beautiful. Oh, I thought you were north. See. So I can see some people are filtering in. So we are going to get started today. So in case you don't know who I am, my name is Heather Collins. I'm the creative director here at Brutus Monroe. And I have posted on the Brutus Monroe fan club page, you guys, that we were going to do some make and takes, and then there was a bundle released, and that sold out. Hello, Luann. So we released a second. So it's marbled basic. So I'm going to take us down to the top. 84. I am so jealous. I might have to come visit in Texas. Okay, so this is the card we're going to make, or similar to it. And I did a really cool technique, and this marbling technique. And then we used some alabaster to do some background with some of our fall release, and then a paper from a paper pad. This is pretty simple. It's a lot of fun, and you can do this with a lot of different dyes that you have. So I'm going to set this off to the side. So one of the things, if you're going to do this technique, if you guys have done any marbling or acrylic pouring or anything, you need really hard cardstock so that it can take the wetness. So we here at Brutus Monroe have the Nacho Melamas cardstock, which I can't get enough of. Every time I check out, I pretty much throw a pack into my basket when I'm checking out. So this is 130 pound cardstock, which is amazing. And then if you're doing marbling, a lot of times you'll use water for things to flow. If you're doing acrylic pouring, usually you use some white paint for everything to move. And we have white tacky glue from Eileen. We also carry some of our white glue, so you can use either one of these. Yes, this stuff is awesome. And then the other thing that you'll need is 2 Chroma Mist that have mica, at least if you're going to make a card similar to mine. And the fall release Chroma Mist are all mica based. So what I picked out today for the bundle is Marlette, and the copper shimmer. And then we have the teal aqua pigment. So this is fantastic. And then I am going to talk to you guys about the stick and stamp items, because we'll be using this also, including the palette. So I'm just going to pull this out a little bit. So this is the stick and stamp palette, pigment palette. Let's try to say that 3 times fast. And then a blending buddy if you want, or a stick and stamp mat. So let's get started. So the first thing that I did is I die cut this. We only have 2 of these left, but I love how Christopher designs a lot of our dies, and that's because you get the shadow pieces, which is fantastic. So you get 1 piece that is a solid, and then 1 piece that has a layering effect with some peekaboo spots. That's what I call it, at least. So this is fantastic. So I already went ahead and die cut that, so I don't have to use the lawnmower over here. Sometimes it's temperamental with me. And then for this technique, what I do is I'm going to put that on the side, and we have our stick and stamp mat. So the traditional stick and stamp mat, I always tell you guys to buy 3. Hello, Anne Marie, for joining. Hello. So 1 always goes to my Misty. We are waiting for these to be restocked. 1 always has my blending buddy on it. Hello, Andrew. And then the other one is my backup, or if I want to do something else fantastic. And so traditionally, when you are doing the blending buddy, and we can do that soon, you have it on here already. But the stick and stamp pigment palette has 2 sides. This side is for watercoloring, which is great. The other side, a lot of times Christopher will put some watercolors on here, or aqua pigments, and then you can dip. So I'd like to have this very clean to start, and I'm going to take some glue. And what I want to do, you're traveling to Oregon. Wow. So what I like to do is put a lot of this glue down. And this stuff is super, super tacky. And you can even just take this off and put it down. And I did create a bundle for you guys to be able to just grab the basics. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread my glue out. And I put a little bit too much on. But that's okay. I'm just going to remove some of this. Hello, Elisa. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone.
There's Christopher.
I'm alive.
They've been asking where you were at.
Just very busy, but I am alive. I promise.
So I like to have a circular pattern so I can do this. Hello, Gina. So step 1 is having the glue and a glob like that. They're saying hello. He's in the next room making labels. He's been very, very busy. And what I'm going to do is because I put way too much glue. This one is much more manageable. What is the bundle called? It is called Marbled Basics. So it comes with a glue. It comes with Not Your Mama's, 2 Chroma Mist from the fall release, and 1 Aqua pigment. It's around $37. So what I like to do to get this marble technique is using the ones that came out with the fall, because they have mica in it. On one side, I will spray my Marlowe, and the other side I'm going to put my copper shimmer, and then you're welcome, my aqua pigment is going to usually be a contrasting color, and I put that down the middle. Now this looks a little bit messy, and that's okay. It is your palette. Everybody with me so far? Now if you wanted to use a different die set, you definitely could. This would be really great with ornaments or our butterflies, because our butterfly set has the shadow and the negative. So feel free to add that to your cart. And what I do first is I take a piece of copy paper and set that off to the side so that I can lay these down. Now, if you look here on my original piece, I like to have that with one main color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to just grab some of my copper shimmer. And then when I put the top piece, I'm going to try to smush it so it gets all 3 colors. Does that make sense? So I'm going to put this here into my puddle. And I am just dipping. And what happens, because the fall release Chroma Mist have mica, you can see how that just adds another layer. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to drop it so it gets all 3. And that's what somewhat causes the movement, because the glue is not, oopsie, having this go all the way through. Do you see that? And it lets the color sit on top of the surface, but it adds another element. So if you do want to wear gloves, you can, but you don't have to. And I can do that again. So the bottom piece, I kind of like to keep it all one color. I just find that that makes it a lot easier. And as I'm dropping it in here, it's adding the layers. And believe it or not, the glue actually gives it a 3D look. And I allow a little bit of the white showing through. And what that does is it just gives it more visual interest, if that makes sense. And if you wanted to make a ton of these, you could. And don't feel shy. Go ahead and use your special tool, which if you've been in my classes, it's what I call your fingers. Everybody see? Isn't that pretty cool? Well, I don't sleep a lot. So I was watching all these techniques and everybody's using water and acrylic paint. And I said, wait a second. We have aqua pigments and chroma sprays. I bet we could do that with glue. And it worked. So try it, and I think you'll love it too. It's a little bit addicting. And look at that. See that movement? Isn't it so cool? And you can like brush it out. And because this is on glue, it's going to give it a little bit of a 3D effect. If you have other sprays, you can try it. Yes, absolutely. Like I said, I like to keep one side a little bit darker, one a little bit lighter with the mica. And if you have the Oz aqua pigments, those have mica in them, and then you can use a different aqua pigment that does not, or chroma spray. Hello, Rose. Oh, I'm so happy to see you too. Hello, Peggy. So yes, you can get a bundle, and the bundle is called Marbled Basics. And what it has in it is a Not Your Mama's card pack, and it has 2 chroma sprays from the fall collection, and it has 1 of the aqua pigments from the fall collection. Now, do you see how this is what's causing all these little marble movements? See that? And I'm not going to try to mess too much with this. The white showing through because of the glue, I think just adds another element. And you could do a whole ornament batch with this also. You're so welcome. Now, like I said, we do have the die set that I'm using, but there's only 2 of them left. And it is called Fall Favorites. There's 2 of these left in the store. And then Christopher has an amazing butterfly set. Butterfly wings, if you want to add that into your cart also. Everybody doing okay? So now, and then you'll want to add this Stick and Stamp pigment palette in if you'd like. And one of the things that I really love about that is it makes cleanup 1,000 times easier, and you can see the movement works so well. So now that a lot of this is coming out white, I'm going to say that this ink thing is done. If you did have a mixed media book and you wanted to put this in to try to use the last of the colors, you could. But I'm just going to clean this up so that the next person who goes live doesn't have colored glue all over the place. And the nice thing is with this palette, all you need is some squeaky clean, and it cleans right up. See, isn't that fun? And I'm just going to clean this other one up that I had put way too much glue on. Yes, the butterflies would be amazing. So I didn't add a die set in because I figured if you guys wanted to search the website and look at our dies, because I heard you guys when some of the bundles, you have some of this stuff, but the Not Your Mama's cardstock, like who can go wrong with having more packs of that, right? But the butterflies would be fantastic because it does have a 2-piece step. Okay, so the next step that you'll want to do is dry these. Now, if anybody's had their nails done professionally, it's going to be kind of like that because this is glue. Yeah, it is tacky glue. Absolutely. So because it's glue, if you over dry it, it's going to bubble and cook. So you don't want that. So just imagine you're getting your nails done in the 90s and they would tell you to dry it till you could touch it. But it might not be dry underneath 100%. So I'm just going to dry this quickly. Now, some bubbling is not a bad idea because it adds another layer. But one of the things that the heat gun is going to do, and I'm going to turn it off for a second. Look at what the heat tool is doing. I'm going to try to bring this down. Do you see how it's causing more marbling because that glue is moving with the heat? Isn't that fantastic? And because of the mica and the chroma mist, it's adding an extra depth. Isn't that fantastic? And I love weird pumpkins out in the wild. And if you see some of the bumps and stuff that happens on a pumpkin in a pumpkin patch, this kind of reminds me of it. So I'm just going to go in here. And this is why you needed the Nacher Mama's 130 cardstock. And again, because your aqua pigments and your chroma mist sit on top of the glue, it gives this wonderful texture. And even if it does bubble a little bit, that's okay. I'm loving how these came out. And you could make ornaments on your tree. You could do butterflies. You could do pumpkins. You could do leaves. Really, sky's the limit. Okay. So, right before it starts to dry completely, what I do is I use the glue to my advantage. And I'm just going to carefully, because it's a little bit tacky still, I can match these up. I think these two work really well together. Look, and you can pop this just like so. And then I'm going to pull this one off. And it's okay because the Nacher Mama's is 130 pounds, so it can take a little bit of a beating. Oh my gosh. Look. How pretty is that, guys? It's almost like it was meant to be how they came out. Yeah, you could do a little foam. It's just that they're so wet that the foam might not stick. So you might have to wait. So what do you guys think? And then what I do is I'm just going to set this to the side for a moment. And I'm just going to take my copy paper, fold it in half. And I have them here. Okay? And I will warn you, they will never look the same. So this was my first one. This is this one. This is my extra from when I was teaching the other day. They will never look the same. And if you go into Chroma Mist, there is also, that was released with that, was Sunrise. These are the mica ones, guys. The Evergreen. The Copper. And the Marlette. So those all have mica. And if you get the Oz, like the Tinman, if you get Dorothy, Poppyfield, any of the Oz aqua pigments, they also have mica. And then, like I said, I like to use it with an aqua pigment that is just, has no pigment. And these ones we created with the fall release. So we have plum and teal and olive and rust. And when we were creating those, they all give you a nice fall hue. So you could create leaves and just really go to town. Okay, you guys ready to go to the next step? Because I know you guys want to finish this card with me. I'm excited. So. Hello, Candy. Hi, Gina. Hi, Elma. Yay, everybody's enjoying the project. I'm so glad. Okay, because I always get nervous when I'm up here. I don't know if you can, if you notice my hands shake and strike. Did you hear Christopher? He gets nervous when I go live too. He's so not funny. Okay, so what we're going to do for the next step is we are going to grab a piece of our cardstock. And our cardstock is 100-pound solid core. And what I want to do is I want to see which piece goes well. Which pumpkin should we use, guys? 1, 2, 3, or 4 to make a card. And these are the cards bases that I have. So which pumpkin do we want to use? Luann says 2. 3 from Candy. 2. I need a third. I need 3 of the same number and then 2. So this is our pumpkin, guys. So which cardstock? Orange, pink, midnight, Lagunda, aubergine, or a green. I'm sorry, Candy. Maybe next time. What cardstock? I'm thinking the orange, guys. What do you guys think? I hear a pink. I see an orange. I need 3 votes. Midnight. Two for orange. I just need 1 more vote. 3, 2, 1. Jack-o'-lantern it is. Okay. So, for the next step, and I'm just going to put these aside, guys, because we're not using them. Sorry, Rose. We're going for 3 votes. Okay. So this is the stick and stamp mat. Now, I am the one that gets to answer all types of fun emails and calls when you guys are calling. And you're like, my stick and stamp mat is too sticky. So let's talk about that. So this one is ultra sticky. Can you hear that? So the first thing you want to do when you open your stick and stamp mat for the very first time is you want to take your cardstock and you want to put it on. Okay? Now, if you bend it and it does not pop off like this, do you guys see? It's too sticky. It will rip your cardstock. So then what you want to do is put some water on it or some matte mist and take it off. Rock Grandma off the rocker. Do you see this? I can bend my mat. It's not causing any harm. If it doesn't come off, then you take a microfiber cloth and you pat it. Or I take a t-shirt and I pat it. And I take some of those off and I do this again. See how it's not as sticky as it was? Now I know I'm good to go. So one of my mats goes into my Misty. One I have my Blending Buddy, and then the other one is backup, or I could put my Stick and Stamp pigment palette at the top here and my paper down here and watercolor. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the one with the Blending Buddy. And we are going to use a stencil today that came out with the fall release. And this stencil is called Scattered Leaves, BRU 5918. And Christopher has in this Blending Buddy is these 2 notches. Someone asked me what's the moons for. So these can be called notches or moons. There's 4 of them. I like to only use 2 of them because I'm usually Team Peak. And what that'll do is it will hold my stencil above my paper, but as I'm working, I can then flip and check my progress. Do you see that? So I'm just going to set this down and I'm going to get my brush out. Now I know that we are out of Alabaster pigment ink, but I do know that Ani found a case of the reinkers. So what you could do is take this reinker, put it on your pigment palette on the back here, put some on it, dab off a little bit, and then use it here. You see? So I understand you guys are frustrated that the ink pads are out, but we do have reinkers. So you could put a little bit here and then blot it there. Everybody with me? Hello, Miss Penny. So when you're using the Alabaster, you don't want to do circles, because what it does is it's so thick, it will do that if you do the circles. So what I'm going to do is I am just pouncing it. Oopsie. You got white chroma. Okay. You can stencil. You can blend. Just get a blending brush. Our Chroma Mist or Aqua pigments, yes, you can blend with those. He's bloody brilliant. I love it. What I like to tell people is, you know how everybody thinks, I wish I could? By the time you think that, Christopher's already making it happen. Hello, Miss Kelly. Okay. If you're just joining us, we've been marbling pumpkins, and you can always rewind the video after it's finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to check it out. And that looks good to me. So the next step I'm going to do before Christopher comes in here and uses this stencil, and the craft fairy is gone for the weekend, is clean this. Yes, he is working on that as we speak. He's waiting for one more component. So he will probably be announcing that next week, the date. Okay. Whoopsie. Okay. Now, because pigment ink is different than a dye-based ink or a pigment ink, you do need to heat set it. You can let it dry, but I don't want to be sitting here while it's still drying. So I am going to dry that now. So do you remember how we get the cardstock off? We do not stick our fingers in. We bend and pop. Bend and pop. Oh, fantastic. Okay, now I put that little piece back so everything doesn't dry out. And then I'm just going to store this here so when Christopher goes to use this next, he can find it. I'm going to dry this. Whoops. And you can tell when the alabaster ink dries because it turns matte. I'm going to dry more of my pumpkin because it's still a little soupy over here. That is fast, Penny. Now, I want you to look at something. This side I dried, this side I didn't. So do you see how this is setting backwards? It's like settling in. It looks more matte. You see how some of this is glossy? That means that's still wet. Well, good, because I wanted you guys to get your kits that ordered on Monday, and you could do this with me if you wanted to, or right after the live is done. You guys, please post in the Brutus Monroe Club what you make, because I want to see what you do. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use my Misty to stamp my sentiment. Now, I did smear this a little bit. I'll show you a trick. That's where I'm going to put my pumpkin. No one will ever know that I smeared that. Now, you could use super sentimental. You could use extra sentimental. You could use all types of stuff. I'm going to use the Fall Greetings stamp set. This is sold out currently, but if you have it in your collection and you were fortunate enough to grab it when it was available, find a sentiment. I love this. Some of our friends dropped that off when I was off. Okay, now I like to use the Raven ink. You could emboss, but I'm just going to focus on using our Raven ink. I think it does the job. I think there's enough layers on the card. It's not necessary. Yes, I love it too. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to take my magnets off and I am going to remove my cardstock. I'm not going to stick my fingers in. I'm going to pop it off and there it goes. And then I'm going to put this to the side, that to the side. And if one of you, whoever orders this marbled bundle will be getting this card today. How's that sound? So if you guys get this Marbled Basics bundle, somebody will be getting the card because it should be dry by Monday. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the side and we're going to get paper out. I'm going to get my pre-scored card bases. I just need one. No, we don't have any more alabaster, but there's a kit, Kelly, called Marbled Basics. It's about $40. So if you want to take a look at it, it is on the website. So you can grab one of those. So I think we could pick, well, do we want to build this part and then you're welcome. So we have all these fabulous papers to choose from the Autumn Comfort. We could also get our silk ties. I'm really leaning towards this, to be honest with you, because I think this is a gorgeous paper pad. Thank you, Penny. But look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you, let's build this and then we can addition which paper we want. So there is a die set called Poppy Flowers, and Candy and Gina and Shannon were all here for the Create Your Ending, and they were so helpful making 250 poppy flowers, and then we never used the stems. So I grabbed these and we've been using them in my make and takes, because we're not going to let something go to waste. And I like this teal. What do you guys think? Yes, that silk ties paper. Oh, so pretty. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use foam tape. Gina might have been the one that was cutting these all out with Lily. Happy birthday, Lily, this weekend. And I just put 3 strips. I'm going to put this to the side. This is our foam tape, and it is in stock. Happy birthday, Lily! Now, this is one of my tricks, guys, because a couple of people asked how I get the layers. So what you do, you put your pumpkin on that smear so no one ever knows that you had an oopsie whoopsie on the way to the card making factory. And then I'm going to get my glue out. Now this is Barely Arts. Christopher ordered it. It's not here, but if you want to put your name in to be notified. So I'm just going to add that. Hello, Tina. Tina's in the house. Okay. So there's that. Now, we are going to figure out which piece of paper is going to be layering panel. Everybody still with me? I'm voting for this. Let's see if there's a different one that we should use. What? So there's the orange silk tie, the teal silk tie. Oh my God, I'm loving this one. So, or Okay, so the teal, the orange silk tie, or the teal silk tie, guys. 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. I have 2 for 2. 1 for 3. 1, 2, or 3. Oh, we got 2 for 2, so this one wins. And we have this silk tie paper pad in stock. It came out with the tailored subscriptions. Now, you guys, the tailored subscriptions, we only have a few of those subscription boxes left. They're perfect for all the homecoming events that your kids are going to, all those weddings that are happening right now, those formal occasions, people are graduating, all those men cards, those women cards. It's fantastic. And that's silk ties. Oh. Now, the die of the month this month sold out. You can still get the Stamp Club, but the Stamp Club Plus that includes the die this month is sold out. I think the stencil's been restocked a few times. So make sure you guys sign up. If you have any questions, please send an email to orders@brutusmanure.com. Luann, I told you, and you were going to wait. Do you remember how you were like, And I said, nope, you need it. Okay, so this is one thing that I always tell people in class. When you have a 6x6 paper pad, you have to decide. Do you want your card to go this way or this way? I'm thinking this way. Well, I'm so glad it gets your thumbs up. Luann is a fantastic quilt maker as well as card maker. She has shown so many beautiful, beautiful quilts. Hello, Angela. Okay. So, now, I like to make my layered panels. I like to make this one the same size as my card panel, which is an A2 size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Hello. There's Francie. And I like to make this just 1/4 of an inch smaller, because I just think that that's enough of a peekaboo. Now, there's a couple of things that you can do. There you go. So, because my background is a little dark, I'm just going to add some Raven, because I think that this will pull in another element without being over the top. See? Yeah, so I heard a trick. And this is actually Francie's trick. She's one of my regulars in my make and take. So I'm going to share her trick with the rest of the class. And it blows my mind. And I'm like, why did I not think about this? So, you don't want to cover up this paper, but you have to, right? But you want to save it for another project. So what Francie does is she gets her rectangles dies out. Here's Chris's. Do you mind if I share with the rest of the class? And I think this is genius. She sets this on here. This will be it. And then she saves this center. Because no one's going to see that middle. Right? Yay! This is what's so fun about classes and lives. You can share with your friends, right? See, I told you guys I wasn't going to use the lawnmower, but here, Francie talked me into it. Oh, there you go. This is a penny trick, too. See, that lawnmower wanted to keep my paper. Yeah, and this is fantastic. You could use this on another project, or you could use it with your word dies like Candy just said. Look how fantastic that is. Don't throw that away. How cool is that? Isn't that a fantastic idea? What did Penny do? Yes, do it with the glitter stock. Oh my goodness. Don't waste it. Don't cover it up. Okay. So now I'm going to come in here with glue. And I am just going to flip this over to the B side. Love it. Okay. And again, if you order this bundle, I will tell Ani on Monday when this card is dry, one of you guys will get it. How's that sound? And it's the Marbled Basics bundle. Thank you for your helpful tip. See, sometimes, even if you're teaching, you can learn from somebody else. Yeah, I don't think there is a bad paper on A or B. That's why I buy like 3 sets. So I'm just going to pull this double-sided There's my card. So here's my original. And once it dries, it'll dry down. There's my new one. What do you guys think? And I should have done Francie's total trick. She turned her card like this. Bring it to a whole nother world. But that's how you marble with aqua pigments and chroma mist. And the trick is tacky glue. And again, I have all of these for another day. Well, it's gorgeous. So there you go. Oopsie. Do you guys have any questions? Let's see if I can go back in frame. Do you guys have any questions for me at this point? And if you did miss the live, as soon as it's done, give it about 5 minutes, and then you'll be able to replay the whole marbling technique. I hope you guys really enjoyed doing this and watching me flumble a little bit and bumble, but you know, it's what we get to do together, right? But I hope you guys had fun, and I will see you another time on the Brutus Monroe fan club page, or you can check this out on Christopher Allen Design on YouTube, and I will throw these up. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and remember to do something creative every day, and remember to create your ending. Bye, guys.